I'm joined again today by Ivan Murphy, Executive Chairman of Harena Rare Earths, who are advancing their ionic clay rare earths project in Madagascar and who have just put out an operational update. Thanks for joining me again, Ivan.
Darren, thanks for having me. Good to see you.
So, Ivan, let's start with financing. You've just been to Washington and met the DFC, the Development Finance Corporation, with a view to securing some grant funding to advance the next stage of the project. What's the process for securing the finance and how quickly could this happen?
Yeah, so look, we've been really open with the market, communicating that as we've been building those relationships in with US government agencies, and I've spent a lot of time in DC over the last 3 months. And that sort of culminated in last week with an investment call with their investment team to kick off our formal process for the application for up to 5 million of project development finance. This is a very specific number that they allot to assist projects like ours get to the next stage. And
Hmm.
then it's also their first marker to making further investment as you progress along into production for bigger financing. So we're really excited about that. It's a really solid process. So we make a formal application, which we're in the process of completing this week, and then it goes through various things at their end. But we certainly meet all the criteria, and as you can see in the market, they've done this with Macongo and Alcara down in Brazil. So it's a well-worn path now, and they're very proactive in securing interests in projects like ours, to help with the critical mineral security issue in the US. So. Yeah, so look, over these coming weeks, we'll be able to update more on how that's going, and we're really pleased to be in that process formally with them. It's been really great to interact with them and learn from them and share ideas. So it's been really cool.
Yeah, as you mentioned there, critical minerals are very much in the spotlight. What is the sort of, the interest level in Ampas Indaba? I mean, obviously you've had a number of discussions. I know the US are very keen. Did you, get any feedback and a lot of interest in the project?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, the critical mineral space, the rare earth space, this is the biggest mineral super cycle we'll probably see in the next generation, because it's separated out from gold and it's separated out from other minerals.
Hmm.
Requirement and need to build your defense and build technology. If you don't have access, solid, controlled access to these products, you can't deliver on those promises, whether you're the US or the EU or the UK. You just can't. So, there's never been a focus on these things like that. And there's no price sensitivity if you're a government, right? You have to have it. And we've seen that in
Hmm.
the deals that the US government have done with MP Materials and stuff like that, where they've given them floor pricing and a huge investment to help them build out capacity. So yeah, look, we have a lot of incoming now as we just come into the spotlight a bit more as our project just starts ticking through a number of key milestones, which we've done even this week with both the DFC and also with the government. So yeah, a lot of interest, no pushback on our project. We have a massive resource. So now it's
Hmm.
just a question of how do we turn the resource, move to production and deliver a concentrate for refining. I mean, everybody wants to offtake. We've a lot of incoming for offtake,
Yeah.
but we're not giving that up at this point.
Yeah. Okay. Well, moving on to the pre-feasibility study, then you've now submitted the study to the Madagascar government. Is this a key step to gaining, an exploitation or production license, and when could that come?
Yeah, that is literally the key point in the process is the
Mm.
submission of the PFS. And that's why we felt we needed to make that operational update so that all information was in the market. So over these last weeks, since we were in Madagascar some weeks back, meeting with the new ministry and the minister, our executive technical director, Alan Mulligan, he's been leading the process, which has been very interactive with the ministry in terms of submitting our PFS in a form that suits the way they want to receive it, which is the
Mm.
same across all governments. So we've been kind of in an interactive process for these last weeks. That's effectively now come to an end. And so now we're kind of moving into the license issuing section of that. So,
Mm.
there's some questions obviously back and forth, but to all intents and purposes, and why we made the announcement yesterday is that's now complete. And now we're just working with them to start to understand some timing around the granting of the license, which, hopefully we'll be able to update about in the new year.
Mm. Okay, so some key milestones hit then. Going into 2026, what can investors expect in terms of, further advancement of the project, and further news flow?
Yeah, I mean, 2026, God, it's around the corner.
Mm.
Uh, you know, this is the real transformation year for this company. We're ending this year having just stopped being a exploration company and
Mm.
having become now a moving to production company. And that's the real turning point for projects and companies of our size. So we'll be a junior miner officially next year, if that makes sense, and moving towards production. So I think those key milestones will be the granting of the license or the exploitation license. We obviously have a license. It's the upgrading of our license to exploitation. You know, Q1, that will happen. Q1, our commitment with the DFC being completed. And then, it's really kind of a lot of site work then, and we'll get into our proof of concept plant up on the site, our lab work and further test work, just to demonstrate that the chemistry and the processing to produce our concentrate is what we say it's been, which we've no reason to believe otherwise. We've done a lot of test work around our PFS. We've
Mm.
created concentrate before. We're actually doing another batch of concentrate at the moment for our own test work, but also to be able to share those results with the market, but also with interested parties that we're going to want to work with in terms of offtake at the right time, and obviously for our larger financing, which we'll start to put that in place, towards the middle of next year.
Okay, well, it sounds like 2026 is definitely going to be a busy year. Thanks very much for joining us today, Ivan, and giving us an update. And I look forward to chatting to you again in the new year.
Yeah, well, have a nice Christmas, Darren. Good to see you.
Thank you.